We're here at NamesCon 2016 with Joe Styler from GoDaddy. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks for having me.
Great. How are you enjoying NamesCon so far?
You know, it's been really fun. It's been fun to see it grow over the last couple of years to where it's at now. It's just gotten bigger every year, and it keeps you on your toes. You're running from the time you get up till when you go to bed late at night, or actually early in the morning.
Yeah.
But you get to meet a lot of people that you might talk to on NamePros, but never got to see face to face, or other people that you never even would get a chance to meet without coming here, which is really fun.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know you've been in the industry for quite a while now. So if you could tell us how you started at GoDaddy
Sure.
and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I started at GoDaddy a little over 10 years ago. It was a funny story because we'd just moved to Phoenix, and I thought I'd work there for a couple of weeks while I found like a real job. And 10 years later, I'm still here because it's just been such a fun place and exciting industry, and I've been able to learn so much. Everything changes all the time, which really keeps you on your toes, and my job's changed a lot over the years. So I've started out talking to people on the phones for support, and then I became one of the leaders in the call center to help other people that were on the teams for call center support. And then I went from there. I got to see the whole company, and what I really was most excited about was aftermarket. I got to see the auctions, and it was very funny because when I started training, we had 2-week-long training, and it was pretty intense. It was all day long for 2 weeks. And they taught you everything about DNS and hosting and everything you can learn. And they had one slide that they put up there, and they said, "This is the aftermarket. You're never going to have to know anything about this." And they went to the next slide. That's literally what they said. So it's been really cool to see how much it's changed and evolved, and to be part of that growth. Right now, what I do is I help customers as much as I can and try and be the face of the aftermarket. Get out there, try and educate people. We do a YouTube channel and Google Hangouts where we put out feeds with interviews we do with people in the industry. So we interview experts and talk to them about different trends that are going on in the industry or things that are probably best practices. And we also talk about how to use our products in the best way. So we had a whole hangout on back orders so you can learn what our back orders are really good for and how to leverage those to invest your portfolio.
So being in the industry for so long, and actually in one of the most major parts of it at GoDaddy, what type of advice would you give to new domain investors?
I think the most important thing is to ask a lot of questions and really get involved into a community somewhere where you can learn from other people. So obviously I think NamePros is a great place for you to go because there's other people that are like-minded, and they have people at every level, people that are starting out. They're asking questions that you probably have, and you can go read those threads and get some more information. And they have people there that are industry veterans that have been there for a long time, very successful, and can give you advice. So I think that's important. I also think reading some of the domain blogs is important so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on in the industry. Domaining.com aggregates a lot of those blogs, so that's a great place to start. But I really think the most important thing is to start to ask questions first and start small. One big mistake that I see from people is they think they know a name that's going to sell, and they go buy 100, 200, 300 names right out of the gate, and they're not good names, and they waste money and they can't make their money back. Everybody's going to make mistakes when they first learn something, so it's better to start small, ask a lot of questions, and kind of play around with things and find out what works and what doesn't work, and then kind of refine, and over time you'll be able to get better and better with a smaller investment up front for your mistakes.
That's some stupendous advice. Yeah, it's great. A lot of people should actually ask more questions and have a little bit more humility too, just kind of reach out to someone and talk to them. The domain industry is really growing right now.
Yes.
I know a lot of people don't really know where it's going, where it's going to stop, where it's going to end up. I was curious to see what your views are of where you'd like the industry to go, and what do you think is missing right now that we need?
I think the industry is just grown tremendously, but it's still relatively small. So if you think globally, there's so many people that have small businesses or even brick and mortars that are established that are a little bit larger that don't have a good web presence. And then there's a lot more people that are being able to come online. So when you think about Africa and Asia and even some places in Latin America where the internet is expanding, Zuckerberg's doing a project to try and get more internet connection in India. There's just more and more people coming online, and we're talking about people in the billions. And that market is just going to continue to grow. Even in the U.S., there's a large percentage of people. It depends on whose study you look at. If you're looking at Google, we do our own. It's about 50% of the businesses that are small businesses that are established have no web presence.
Wow.
Not even a Facebook page.
You wouldn't even think that.
Yeah, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a tremendous amount of room to grow. If you're online, you have you can have a local reach, you can have a global reach, you can sell things to people that are in your own community or all the way on the other side of the world, which is really exciting. And I think as the industry continues to grow, we're going to be able to see more and more opportunities for people to have their businesses, which is great for everybody. I don't know where I'd like to see it grow, but I'd like to see the internet stay open so that people can start their own business and have just as much advantage as anyone else anywhere in the world. If they work hard, that they have a chance to succeed. And I'd like to make sure that the bandwidth is there and that everybody can have a fair opportunity to be able to do that.
That'd be great. That's what we're all hoping for.
Right.
So the domain industry is pretty diverse right now, but we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg. We're still in the wild west of the internet.
Right.
In your view, what do you think is the next big thing? So I know right now we're seeing a lot of investors come from China, like you're saying, in India and other countries, and even here, small business isn't even online yet. But I know another big thing, especially at CES that was last week, was the Internet of Things.
Yes.
How do you think domain names and new GTLDs and things are going to play a role in the Internet of Things?
I just think, it's crazy to think back. 10 years ago, my brother had GPS and I didn't have it. And then I got it, and it was so cumbersome you could look at like one state, right? Yep. And then we had digital cameras and computers, and to think that everything fits in my pocket. I don't even want to use, I have GPS in my cars I don't even use. I use my phone, just because it's better, right? To think about that evolution just on your phone, and then to know that there's things in my house now that'll tell me, hey, you need to order a new refrigerator filter, and you can set that up just to go to Amazon and pre-fill it. I think it's really just the tip of the iceberg. So the fact that I can wear my Fitbit and compete against people that are friends all around the country or in other countries, and it keeps you connected, and I think it's a lot of fun, but I think we're really just at the tip of the iceberg, and some of the things that you see in CES are great. All those places need somewhere to live, and they need somewhere to be able to communicate to their customers. Fitbit has Fitbit.com. While this is connected, I still need a place to go learn about what I can do and to be able to track some of the places that I go and compete with people. So there's got to be some back end, and I think that gives a lot more room for domains, because you have that thing, but it still needs to be connected somewhere where I can get information. I'm not going to go to my refrigerator and figure out about a filter. I need to go somewhere and find out.
Right. You're not going to go to your fridge to find out how many steps you walked that day with your shoes or something else. Well, hopefully not. Maybe that would make me eat less. But
that's one good thing. And the GTLDs, I think, it just gives people more of an opportunity. One of the interesting things that I took away from being here at NamesCon was I was able to attend a couple sessions, and one of them was on SEO. And they did a comparison last year to this year, how names were ranking with the GTLDs, and if they had a good keyword TLD, it was interesting to me to see that they would pay less for Google Ads to be able to rank just as good as any of the other names, and also some of the organic ranking that they've achieved in some of the TLDs, and they showed us which the top TLDs were, which was pretty cool. It was, off the top of my head, I know .nyc and .xyz were in there, which was neat to see.
Yeah.
And they looked at the top 1 million sites and how did that compare? And they looked at growth for common net sites in the top 1,000, and then they looked at top 1,000 in the GTLD space, and it started to get up there where more and more names were changing. So I think this will be a pivotal year. I think there's a lot of things that are going to come out for GTLDs that'll help them to grow more.
Yeah. Is there any other GTLDs that you like personally, or that you like to invest in, or anything else?
Yeah, it's funny you asked me that, because somebody asked me that, and I said, I don't really have a lot of GTLDs, and then I started to think, and I do. I have a lot of extensions.
It's going to creep up on you after a while, after you're registering all these,
I really think it depends on what you want to do with the name, and it really comes back to basic valuation of a domain name. A name is important, in my opinion, because it can bring you money, right? Me as a business owner, if I have a domain name and I want to sell something on my business, either a good or a service, I'm going to make money from that, right? So if I have leathercouches.com, people know, okay, great. I want to buy a leather couch. Where am I going to go? Leathercouches.com is a great place for me to be able to buy that. If I have a site that doesn't make sense, it's hard to remember, and it's not going to be a great idea for me to be able to sell things on it. So if I had leathercouches.fishing or .fish, which is one of the extensions, it doesn't really go together. Not a great fit, right? But if I had like golf.club, that's a great name. I know what I can sell golf clubs on it, right? And I can give people information about golf, and that makes a lot of sense. You can run a business on it. I think if you can picture your own business or somebody being successful with the business on a particular domain name, then it's going to make sense to invest in.
Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. I know a lot of people know .com is king, and it's kind of ubiquitous in its use. But with the GTLDs, you have to look at them more of like there's a lot of tools in the toolbox, and you have to use the right one for the right job. And you can find the right one. We have a lot of them out there now.
Right.
I know you're a frequent user of NamePros. I've seen you on the boards a lot.
Right.
I see we've done a couple blog posts with us too that were great and got a lot of attention, especially on security.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most useful part of NamePros to you, being from GoDaddy or just you personally?
The best thing that I think NamePros offers me is feedback from customers. It's instant feedback and direct feedback on things that we're doing. And not only is it instant, we get a good perspective from people all around the world. So I might have something that I think is great and it's working good for me, but it's not working good for people on the other side of the world. Like payment processing might not get to a country that we want it to get to, and we don't know about that. And NamePros will say, hey, you just made a change, and it's really hard for my bank to collect money after I sell a name. Well, that's great feedback, and it gets right to me. And I think that's really the best thing about NamePros. You get to hear from your customers directly, and you just have an open forum where they can voice whatever they really want to talk about. And I think that's a great place. Getting back to the open internet, I think it's great to have that freedom and be able to talk about whatever you want. And that leads to unexpected questions and things that come up. And that helps us all to get better.
Absolutely. And I couldn't even put it better myself. So it's always great to hear that opinion from other people as well. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate you coming out to do the interview today.
Yeah, thanks a lot.